Hello, this is my evidence for my test table that I made in my evaluation section of my computer science coursework. If I open PyCharm, I can show you my game here. This is the main menu, although the first thing I need to do is check performance. So let me enter the game. This is the loading screen, and it normally takes around 10 seconds. Although I'm going to reduce the map size so that the load time is faster, so that this video is way shorter. If I pause the game here. On the top left you can see the performance is at roughly 120 FPS. While I have my settings at low. So pretty decent FPS. If I quit here and reduce the size of the game, the load times will be way better. Now I can increase the enemies to 100, see how much the performance is affected. Now I just have to wait for the enemies to spawn. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. I set the number of enemies to 100, and let me see the FPS. Still very reasonable FPS. Around 100, which is very decent considering that I only want 15. Next up is gameplay mechanics. So I'm testing if my player can move, sprint, shoot, and jump. As you've seen, they can move, they can shoot in all directions, they can jump they can sprint as well. So this is, let me get away from the enemies. This is normal speed, and then this is sprinting. As you can see, there's a difference. And the enemy is also slowed when they go in water. Next up is level generation. Well, you've probably been able to see while I've played the game that levels are generated procedurally. So if you take a look at the map now, I'll restart the game and you'll see that it's different. There, see, the map has changed and it's correctly generating the map. There's no visual bugs. Everything is looking just as it should. Next up is the user interface. The main menu is very good. Tutorial on the left with shooting, sprinting, moving, resizing, quitting, and jumping, and their respective buttons. You can choose the difficulty that you want, and buttons react to when you hover over them, and they tell you which one is selected. Not only that, you have big font sizes, making them readable, selectable guns. I set my wins to 10 so that I can show you that you can select different guns, but I'll set it to 0 later so that you can see that it doesn't let you select it if you don't have the amount of wins. Let me show you the game when it's paused. You have resizing. You have lots of things. Resizing works by clicking this button or pressing F11, as you can see. You have toggling music, so if I click that, it'll stop the music. Changing, showing the stats and the game time. As you can see, when the game is paused, it's not increasing the game time, and then when it's not paused, it's increasing the game time. You also have the sliders, which work very nicely. You can change the values for things, screen shake, maximum FPS. As you see, the FPS goes down. And actually, you can see the top left here, the FPS does actually change. What else? The brightness, the text size, and the volume. And you can also reset all of these settings by pressing this reset. Next up is the audio system. As you can see, it's worked fine the entire time. Shooting guns, jumping, all of these things have sound, and you can hear the volume. When you press pause, the game's music also pauses. When you are in the main menu, you have music. When you press play also, the music changes to this loading music. And that's it for the auto system. For the tutorial, I'd say it's pretty effective, from what people say. It shows everything that you need to. It shows all the keys, including resizing, quitting, jumping. Every single button that you can press in the game that does something is showed here. So it's very effective and looks nice. Next is showing the dynamic difficulty. I can probably do this by selecting the easy mode and then the hard mode and show you the difference. In the easy mode, basically enemies will do less damage and they'll have more health. So if I get hit once here, I took 26 damage and enemies are like one hit when dying. When I choose hard difficulty, where are they? I'll get hit once and it stopped at 424, I think there, so they did 76 damage, and they are still one hit, but I think that's because my shotgun does a lot of damage. If I use the AK, you can probably see it, but I don't want to make this video too long. Next is long-term progression. I'll show you the different enemy types. Although to win the game once, it takes roughly 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So I don't want to take 6 minutes and 30 seconds to show you the entire game. So I'll just show you a couple of enemies, and that there is progression when you level up. You can probably hear the sound now from collecting XP. This is the card system. When you hover over them, they slide to the right to show you which one that you're looking at. Then I can choose one and it will give me a buff. As you can see, I got 240 health there. My health is now 740 because it's initially 500. So that's working correctly. Let's see. You can see now that these white canines start to spawn in rather than the gray ones. Right now the game has, I'm pretty sure, 12 enemies, with 3 of them being bosses. So I'll wait until one of the bosses comes, because that's in 10 seconds, more or less. Or is it 20? I'll just wait for it to spawn. I'll try to level up and get some more cards to show you as well that the cards are different. Yeah, as you can see, cards are different. So if I choose another one, it does something different as well. I'm trying to die as well before the boss spawns. think he spawns at 100 seconds, hopefully. I don't want to spend too long in this video though. Yeah, there he is. He just has increased health, that kind of thing, and there are 3 of these guys. So once you kill this first one, there's a new set of enemies. So these are the canines, then you have rock-based enemies, and then you have alien enemies. But yeah, I'll move on to the next thing, which is shader and visual stress test. I do this by increasing the amount of blood by quite a bit. Let's see. Blood. I can just increase, I think, this value to 1. Yeah, I'll just increase that value to 1, and then I can also increase this one to like 100 and reload it. Now there should be much more blood on the screen, and it will stress test the game. Wait for some enemies to spawn. As you can see, there's quite a bit more blood now compared to before, and it builds up really quickly because this game lasts 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So doing this for 6 minutes and 30 seconds makes the entire screen bloody. If I look at performance, still at a pretty reasonable 120. When this blood effect comes on the screen, it does drop, but when it's not on the screen, it's a pretty good 120. Performance is still really good, despite how much blood there is on screen, which is really good. I don't want to spend too long on it though, so I'll just return to the next one. Which is tile map logic. I can change values here. So if I change, what should I change? I'll change these ones. My biomes, tile map. I'll change this to 0.4. And I'll use 2 octaves. See how that looks. This will basically change how the terrain is made. That was too much. Let me do it to 0.1 actually. Increasing it makes it less watery, while decreasing it makes it more watery, I'm pretty sure. Let me still use 1 octane, no. I'll do 0.05. Using more octaves makes it more random, so that's kind of why, yeah. So if I increase it, you see there's these big pools of water instead of just small ones scattered around the map. And the tile map logic holds up. It still looks just like it should. Although this isn't the style I want my game to be in, because I want you to be constantly needing to avoid enemies and traversing the map instead of just having some large pools of water. So as you can see, the tile map logic works fine. Let me put it back to, I think it was 0.2 it was. Next is load times. When I do this, I can increase this value to now 0.6. As you saw before, when it was 4000 by 4000, which is its native map size, it took about 10 seconds. I even have it here to show you what the time is. When I set it to 6,000 by 6,000, see how long it takes. Is OBS still running? It is. Okay, that's good. Yeah, the reason it's taking so long now is because the map size increases exponentially. Okay, 28 seconds, which isn't terrible considering most games take about a minute. So if you run, for example, Overwatch or whatever game you're playing, it normally takes a minute to load. So it's pretty good times. Even considering my game is way smaller than this, it scales pretty well, I think. With 6,000 by 6,000, it takes quite a while to get to a border of the map. So I'd say it's a pretty good success. We reduced this now to 2,000 by 2,000 so the load times aren't too long. It's supposed to be calmer. Next is loading and saving assets. So if I just go into my assets folder and let's see, I'll just copy this and paste it a bunch of times so you can see. Copy it again. So now I have loads of images here. Loads of them. And I try running my game. It'll rename them and load times are still exactly the same. The game handles loading it very well. Loading images. I'm gonna do this for all. Yeah, I think I did it too many times. I'll fix this later. It's fine. Let's see. Next I have how our assets handled. So no, sorry, that's sorry, how input is handled. So if I load my game, resizing the screen is F11. So if I just smash it, this is what it looks like. I can also set an auto clicker so that you can see that the input is actually, I'm not just like slowly pressing it. If I do F11, I'll set the timer interval to 10 and then do F3. Even though it's an auto clicker, and it should be pressing really fast, it's only registering it at a set interval that I set. So it handles input very well. It does this with everything, so I don't want to show every single one. Like even changing thingy, it kind of has a little bit of a delay, but I don't want to show all of them. Next though I have gameplay, showing that the gameplay is smooth, responsive, bullets don't have any phasing, so I can shoot in every direction. Bullets never phase through enemies, which was a problem I got when the FPS was low. But bullets always hit enemies, collision is working perfectly. Jumping is satisfying, smooth. You can sprint, the movement is very good, and yeah. So that's also a success. Next, I need to show how extreme values are handled for my player. So if I change their speed, for example, here to 800, increase their health to 5 million, change their what else can I change? I mean, that's fine for now. The game shouldn't crash when I do this, so yeah, 5 million health, and the player will accelerate until they get to that speed. Of course, because I'm hitting the water, he's gonna slow down, so it's kind of hard to show that really extreme value. But the player is handled very well. I can increase the acceleration rate to like very high to show you what it looks like even when it hits the water, so it's really fast. Yeah, so you can see the player goes extremely fast, but the game still runs properly. No bugs. You can go left, right. You can. Oh yeah, this is also what it looks like when the player reaches the border of the screen. The camera still works fine, and it doesn't go off screen. The screen shake also doesn't affect the border of the screen, and it works quite nicely. We've put those values back to what they were. Next is the particle system. Oh wait, no, sorry, no, that's not it. The event manager. So sorry, I didn't mean to full screen. When I press F11 really fast, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't break the game. When I press the stats really fast, it doesn't break the game. All the other buttons as well. When I minimize and full screen, of course, again, it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't break the game, and that all works fine, so that's successful. And lastly, the settings, which I kind of have talked about before, but using the sliders is very satisfying. When the mouse goes to the left of a slider, like beyond it, it still holds it, but it doesn't push it beyond this point. You can reset it, of course. Also, if you hover over a mouse and go left, like above it or below it, it doesn't stop it from holding it. And if I hover over another slider while having left click, it doesn't activate that slider as well, which was a bug that I had. I can show you what the screenshot looks like normally. That's what it looks like. Although I do prefer having it at a low screen shake. The range system is also alright. I have auto shoot. The range system is also very nice. So as you can see, when rain hits the floor, it does a little splash, and then it like fades into nothing. Sound changes as well. I'll show you. It's quite loud, so I'm gonna put that back down. Text size, as you can see, the brightness, all of that works fine. And yeah, let me set the winds for the player to 0 so you can see that the, sorry, not this. I don't know what's that. I'll set it to 0. And I shouldn't be able to switch guns. Actually, you can kind of tell that I'm pressing it because my cursor just like blink red, as you can see when I press it. It's not changing the guns because I don't have the required wins. If I set it now to 2, for example, I should only be able to choose the AK. Yeah, so that works, and I shouldn't be able to choose these ones. Yeah, so that works fine. Let me remove this. And you can see that the save load system also works. I had the win to 2, it's still 2. and I can show you it with the sliders as well. So right now the music is on. Let me toggle the music off. Color mode max, screen shake max. I'll just put everything to max, which is gonna look really weird. And then go back. Now if I quit and play, you can see music is still off. You still have the color blindness mode. The brightness is higher. That's because it's handled in the shader, so it also does it in the main menu. It's kind of hard to see. It's really hard to see, but if I put this one down, you can see that all the rest are max, and this would also be max. So the save load system works perfectly. It saves it in this data save right here. So if someone wanted to restart the game, so get rid of their wins, they could just delete this data save folder, and it would return their wins back to the original amount, which is 0. And so they can't choose the guns that they had before. That's it for my test table, although I will make 2 other videos, I think, for accessibility features and code maintainability, which these are all my code files, and I can show these on a later video. Thanks.